Hi everyone, welcome back. Bella here. When we are looking for online English resource, have we ever felt confused? Because it seems like our question is being answered by more questions, and we become more and more lost as we get into the material. Or maybe we feel overwhelmed because there are simply an ocean of resources online, and obviously everyone is going to talk about how great their resource is and how helpful it will be to you. So you don't know which one to choose, or you don't know which one to believe. Or you might feel anxious every time after you wanted to look for something to help you with your English, because it sounds like everyone online is speaking better English. Everyone online seems to know what they're doing. They seem to have everything under their belts, which makes you feel like you're never going to be good enough, that you're always going to be behind, that you don't have what it takes, or it will simply take way too long for you to get to where they are. And more often than not, we feel frustrated because what is promised in the learning material ended up not being delivered. Either that's a course or a book or other reference materials. We feel lied to because we were hoping that this could be it. This could be the solution to our problems. If you have felt any of these feelings before, you're not alone. I'm sure almost all of us have gone through this at some point when we're trying to improve our English. So after taking a thorough look on what's available online these days and looking back on the experiences my students and I myself had in the past, I have some information here that you might want to consider. First and foremost, please stay away from all those learning materials that do not bring any value to your English learning. And the word value can be perceived in many different ways. For example, the material or video might answer some of the questions you have to your English learning, or provide some solutions to the problems you're dealing with at the moment. Or sometimes it may give you fresh perspectives on things that you never thought about, or it inspires you to make some changes to the things that you are doing right now. So if the learning resource meets one or more of these requirements, I would consider it valuable for you to study. Still, you need to be very selective with what you choose to study. For example, a lot of the learning resources online nowadays reflect very poor or even wrong language usage. So imagine if you're learning from these kind of resources, what kind of English are you learning? You've already got enough problems you have to deal with on your own. You don't want to add other people's problems to your pile. Or I found the speakers in a lot of these videos have very questionable English pronunciation. Then again, it really depends on your intention of using this video. If you're not trying to learn the pronunciation from these speakers, I imagine that will probably be okay. Still, I would err on the side of caution. You know, just in case one of those wrong pronunciations got stuck in your head and eventually became your own. Another thing you might want to watch out for is the content selection. I've noticed that there are a lot of random content available online, and the result of you watching a bit here and a bit there is that you might only get fragments of information and knowledge all day long. It's not really going to answer your questions about what you need to do or how you need to carry out a particular practice. And a lot of times the selection of the content is not really determined out of consideration for the audience. A lot of times some content was selected because it was easy to talk about, or because a lot of people have been talking about it and it's definitely going to be popular on social media platforms. So next time when you want to go online and look for some resources for your own learning, think about this. How much have you learned from these videos in proportion to how much time you have invested in them? Because sometimes we might feel like, oh, I'm learning a little bit here and a little bit there, I'm improving every day. But is that really the case? Think about how much time gets sucked into watching these videos one after another, and how many valuable things you have actually gained from these experiences. And maybe you have learned this one thing that would have taken you 2 minutes to Google or Baidu, but you actually spend half an hour to an hour going through videos to learn it. If that was the case for me, I would definitely reconsider how to use my time wisely. And to avoid wasting our time on videos like these, there are a few things we need to think about first. Number one, what is our language level? Where are we at right now? What do we know and what do we not know? Without a clear knowledge of our own language level, it's impossible for us to identify the suitable learning resource that's going to benefit us and worth our time. And then you need to figure out your priority. What areas are you hoping to improve? You could work on more than one thing at a time, but that's not going to be the most efficient way. And sometimes it could be challenging, especially if we only have limited time every day for learning English. So you have to pick and choose. Choose one thing that you consider most important and start with that. You will see some progress later on, and that will in turn motivate you to continue further. And last but not least, ask around and compare. Instead of going online to try to see if you could find the perfect solution, I would actually personally prioritize people that I know in real life, like my teachers, my friends, family, anyone who's had similar experience as you do, who's been there, who's tried different approaches in the past. A lot of times the advice they gave you are going to be more reliable because their only intention would be to help you. And make sure you start with one method at a time. Don't try to do 5 different things all at once. That's not going to work, and you're going to get burned out, and it's just not going to end well. Stick with one thing and give it some time. See how it turns out. At the end of the day, I think anyone can benefit from a comprehensive learning system, whether you're trying to target your English pronunciation or your sentence creation or the idea organization. And you will not improve as fast as you want to if all you do are remember new words, watch a lot of these time-consuming videos, and go with the flow. All we can do instead is have a plan, stick with it, and be intentional with all of our time investments.